He was born into a life most people only dream about. Ryan Steele, the only son of billionaire industrialist Victor Steele, a man known for his wealth, pride, and power. Ryan grew up in mansions, surrounded by servants, bodyguards, and luxury. He had everything except humility. From childhood, his father's money shielded him from consequence. He never learned to say thank you, never understood struggle, never cared about the people who worked for his family. To him, everyone was replaceable, till the day fate introduced him to Daniel, a quiet orphan boy who would change his life forever. It happened on a sunny afternoon, when Ryan's sports car broke down on the edge of the city. He got out, frustrated, kicking the tire and shouting into his phone for his driver, but there was no signal. A few minutes later, a boy around his age, barefoot, wearing torn clothes, walked up carrying a bucket of water. "Need help, sir?" the boy asked. Ryan scoffed. "What can you do? Do you even know what this car is worth?" The boy smiled. "No, sir, but I can help push." Reluctantly, Ryan agreed. Together, they pushed the car to the roadside. Daniel gave him water to drink and sat beside him, cheerful and kind. When Ryan asked where he lived, Daniel pointed to a small orphanage across the street, said quietly, "I work there sometimes, to help the younger ones eat." Ryan frowned. "Now, why do you work if you're still a kid?" Daniel shrugged. "Because hunger doesn't care about age." For the first time in his life, Ryan had no answer. Later that evening, when his driver finally arrived, Ryan took out a few bills and handed them to Daniel. "You're for helping me." Daniel shook his head. "No, sir. You looked thirsty, that's all." Ryan stared at him, speechless. No one had ever refused his money before. As he drove away, something inside him shifted, a quiet shame he couldn't name. The next day, Ryan visited the orphanage. He found Daniel fixing a broken window. When the children saw Ryan's fancy car, they ran out laughing, excited. He asked the caretaker about them and learned that the orphanage was struggling to stay open, for reasons he couldn't explain. Ryan began coming back every week, bringing books, food, and toys. The more time he spent there, the more he realized how hollow his world had been. Daniel, who had nothing, was always smiling. Ryan, who had everything, was always empty. One afternoon, while they sat outside, Daniel said something that stuck in his heart. "Ryan, rich people count money. Poor people count moments." Ryan laughed, but inside, he felt something break. Months passed. Then tragedy struck. One night, while Ryan was returning from a party, his car was attacked by robbers. They dragged him out, beat him, and took everything, his phone, wallet, even his shoes. He lay bleeding by the roadside, barely conscious. When morning came, the first person to find him was Daniel, recognized Ryan immediately and shouted for help. He carried him to the orphanage, cleaned his wounds, and used the last of the food money to buy medicine. When Ryan woke up, he saw Daniel sitting beside him. "You're safe," Daniel said softly. Ryan blinked weakly. "You saved me." Again, Daniel smiled. "That's what friends do." Ryan began to cry. For the first time in his life, he cried not from pain, but from gratitude. Days later, his father, Victor, arrived in anger. He stormed into the orphanage, shouting, "Who are these people? Didn't anyone tell me my son was here?" Ryan stopped him. "Father, these people saved me. And this boy, he's worth more than all your money." Victor looked at him in disbelief. Ryan continued, "While you were buying companies, he was giving his last meal to children. He's taught me more about humanity than I've learned in 20 years. Victor was silent. For the first time, he saw his son as a man, not a spoiled child. From that day, everything changed. Ryan convinced his father to rebuild the orphanage, turning it into a home for hundreds of children. He appointed Daniel as the director and made sure every child there got the chance to go to school. Years later, during a public ceremony, Ryan stood on stage beside Daniel. He said, "The boy who once pushed my car when I looked down on him is the same man who pushed my life in the right direction." The audience stood and applauded, but Daniel only smiled humbly, whispering, "I told you, rich people count money. Poor people count moments." Ryan laughed, tears in his eyes. He turned to the crowd and said, "And that's why I stopped being rich and started being human. Because sometimes the poorest hands hold the richest hearts."